Jake the Film Guy, Microbudgeter.com. In this video, we're going to talk about common complaints and objections.
Now I'm penniless for the next 9 months.
Good. What did you buy?
You tell me, Mr. Clairvoyant. Or, better yet, why don't you have Miss Clairvoyant tell me?
We got a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. Let's not waste any more of your time. The number one common complaint / objection that you will run into. Tap the brakes. We got to talk about a complaint versus an objection. Complaint is somebody complaining about the weather. Oh, it's raining outside today. An objection is something that they truly perceive as a hurdle, an obstacle that they cannot get over. I have no money! That could be both a complaint and an objection. But they legitimately might not have any money, in which case you have to be creative about that. We'll come back to the money complaints. Objections. I'm going to use the two interchangeably. Treat every objection as a complaint, as I've learned from guys like Zig Ziglar and Grant Cardone. And for the record, I've learned many of my ways to handle common complaints and objections that we face in video production through the great sales gurus like the aforementioned gentlemen. So I highly recommend you rent their books, listen to their programs, etc., etc. Zig Ziglar and Grant Cardone. Those are my two favorites, not in that order. In the world of video production, you're often going to find that somebody says, I have to talk to so-and-so. I got to talk to Uncle Bob. Well, chances are Uncle Bob's the real decision maker, and while you don't want to be disrespectful to this person that you are talking with, the reality is that person might just be an influencer and not the person who actually agrees to write the check so that you guys can get started on that video. You need to start following up with Uncle Bob or whoever that person might be. Or the second reality might be that Uncle Bob is an extremely important influencer in that decision maker's life, and you have the decision maker. How do you know if you have the decision maker? Talk about this elsewhere. I link them below when it comes to qualifying your prospect / client. The second type of complaint / objection that you will run into is to say that, well, I did such and such last year and I don't need a video. Or sometimes it's just as simple as, we don't need a video. In which case you need to, as in all of our sales training, as in all of our video production deals, you need to agree with that prospect or client. Hey, I agree with you. You don't need a video right now, but you will tomorrow. You can be creative with this. Videos are super digestible. We get the information as easy as butter. You know, you have everything under the sun that is going to be trying to get your customer, your client, your sponsor's attention, and video is one way to break through all the noise. There are a whole list of things that you can run with here when you're trying to handle this objection of why they don't need a video. YouTube is the second biggest search engine, right behind its parent, Google, and this is one way that we can help you search this is one way we can help you index a little bit better with the search engines, because the two work hand in hand, Google and YouTube. Not to mention the likelihood of all your audience on Facebook, which I can see, Mr. John, is your biggest platform. The likelihood of all the people on your Facebook platform being 35 and older, it's a good chance. In fact, probably 80% of your people are 35 and older, and let's face it, the old crowd, I'm getting there myself, we like to watch videos. In fact, all of the content on Facebook, of all of it, the ones that perform the best, video and pre-produced video, live video and pre-produced video. Now, when it comes to these different situations and somebody says, I don't need a video, you're just gonna have to figure out how to creatively handle that. But the first thing, agree, and then secondly, be creative. Yeah, I agree, you don't need a video today, but you'll need one tomorrow. I agree, you don't need a video right now, but next month, when the last Blockbuster in Washington goes out of business, you're gonna need a video. Hey, I agree, you don't need a video, but I can get Sean Connery out of retirement. What do you say? Be creative, add a little humor, keep the conversation going. One of the things that you will run into commonly, obviously, are money kinds of complaints and objections, in no particular order. They sound similar, but they're not. We can't pay you, meaning they don't have access to the money. They don't have the money. They don't know how to get access to the money. Help them out. Be a financial advisor, as Grant Cardone would encourage his listeners and his followers. Figure out ways to leverage financing that's going to work for them. One of my favorites that I recommend to people who say they can't get the money or they don't have the money is PayPal. PayPal offers 6 months financing with very reasonable terms. And not to mention, most every vendor accepts PayPal these days. Whether it's online or in the store, you will find that it is a widely used option, and it is one way that we can get you what you need, this video right now done, and you won't have to make payments on that. Not to me, but to PayPal when it's convenient for you in those 6 months. probably with no interest. Let's look into it together. Handle the objection or the complaint, whatever the case may be, treat it like a complaint, and press forward. Now, similar to that one, you'll often hear that the person is over budget. Oh, I just don't have the budget for this. Oh, I'm over the budget. It's not in the budget this year. I agree, it's not in the budget, but hey, you know what? We got a monthly budget meeting on Mondays. Monthly Monday budget meetings. You know, you can join, give the first talk if you like. We're all over budget. That's one of my favorites that I learned from Grant Cardone. Also, something I learned from him that's one of my personal all-time favorites is to agree. I understand you're over budget, but you know what? Uncle Sam's over budget, and he doesn't shut down ever for anything. And you shouldn't be shutting down either. That's no reason to stop this momentum. I certainly won't be. Figure out how to handle that. Find an objection overcomer, complaint overcomer, something that you like that works for you, and build an arsenal of those. Because build a repertoire. You're gonna get this a lot. I don't have the budget. I know you don't have the budget, but I know a way we can find the budget. It's right under the mattress right here. It's okay to inject a little humor. They may sound silly, they may sound cheesy, but if you add a smile, it can keep the conversation going. I've seen this more often than I can count. The other money objection that you will often run into is the fact that they're going to say, it's just too much money. It's too expensive. That's way too much. I can't afford that. I agree it's expensive. And you know, this isn't something you do every day. I agree it's expensive. Sign here. I know it's really expensive, but you are somebody that clearly invests in quality. You live a quality lifestyle. Your business is up to par and then some. You are a person who makes quality decisions, and this will be yet another quality decision. Or one of my personal favorites, short and sweet. I know it's expensive. I agree it's a lot of money. But you know what? Good things aren't cheap. Finally, you're going to hear this one, and you have to be very discerning. Pray about this if you have to. Say the client, the prospective client comes to you and says, well, the last so-and-so, the last marketer, the last video guy, if they start with that kind of complaint or objection, fork in the road, watch out. They're either going to start ragging on that person, in which case, you need to get out of Dodge. That person is not somebody you want to work with. If they're ragging on that last vendor, what do you think they're going to do with you? Fire that person. Run the other way. Or, secondly, it's just a complaint about something with that last person's work. And that's where the buck stops. If it stops there, then you need to do what? First, agree. I understand. Hey, I'm with you. I see what you're talking about here. I watched that video. But you know what? I'm the best video producer this side of the Mississippi. I hear you. That last marketer, I probably wouldn't work with him either. And you know what? That's why I'm thankful that I do. And then you continue on with that sales pitch and you reroute it to why you are the perfect solution for that client. Now, this could be a business, could be a nonprofit, could be a government entity. It could be a mom and pop down the street whose son-in-law and daughter are getting married. I said that backwards, but you get my drift. Mom and dad usually foot the bill for the wedding, and by extension, in my experience, the wedding videographer. Whoever the client may be, you can handle that objection about, well, so-and-so before you. Yeah, I agree, so-and-so. That's why they're in the rearview mirror. Figure out a way that's creative. Figure out a way that you can say it with a smile and deliver. That's all I've got for you today. And while I may have some bonuses at the end of this, I want to encourage you. If you're a follower of Jesus, and this may sound really random, but I got to throw it in somewhere. If you're a follower of Jesus and you're using this tool for the glory of God, great. I'm glad to have you. If you have nothing to do with following Jesus, that's okay. You're still welcome to this channel. Either way, I really encourage you, regardless of where you are in life. If you're struggling with a porn addiction, get help. We cannot afford to give any ground to darkness through this avenue. We need to be using these tools that we've been given in the time that we have on this earth for constructive purposes. And porn is the antithesis to that and everything that goes with it. Steer clear! All right, I got 2 bonuses for you for those who stuck around long enough. Number 1, this kind of complaint / objection that you might run into is about time. It's not a good time. We're just not ready for it. I can't do it now. Maybe next quarter. If you hear that objection, you validate it. Treat it like a complaint. I'm with you. You don't have the time. I understand you don't have the time, but that wouldn't keep you from hearing my proposal about such and such, will it? I understand you don't have the time, and I believe that a person like you never has time because you probably have 27 different things right now on your desk that are vying for your attention. Let's go ahead and get this taken care of so that you can get back to doing the other 26 things that need your attention. Come on, let's do this. Sign here. Figure out what the complaint is about time, agree with it, and then handle the objection. That is one situation, because it might just be a complaint. Now, if it's truly an objection, meaning they cannot make the time right now, then you have to use discernment. There are 7 billion plus people on God's green earth. Do you need to recast your fishing line, or do you need to put them into your CRM or whatever calendaring system you're using so that you follow up with that person in 3-6 months? If they truly don't have the time right now, making a video is an intensive process. And I understand that, you understand that, and they certainly, at least on an intuitive level, understand that too. The last and final, most crucial and critical complaint or objection that you will hear, and it really isn't a complaint or an objection, it's just silence. If a salesperson's ever strong-arming you, don't respond. If you give them nothing to work with, 2 things will probably happen. 1, they'll start getting the sweats and they'll think that you're just strong-arming them, and then they'll start throwing out everything. Here's the dog, the wife, the car, throw it all in. If you are silent, a salesperson has nothing to work with, and the discerning client of yours might realize that. If they're absolutely silent, you have really no leverage. You can't agree, you can't overcome, you might not even have a client. So be careful. If they give you no reply, at this point, you can consider following up. To what degree you do? Well, it depends on how bad you need that job. But again, 7+ billion people on God's green earth, I might want to go do this.